Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a super relatable everyday battle. I'm talking about the epic, never-ending struggle between having incredible, mind-blowing creative brilliance and, well, having a really messy room. Seriously, if you've ever felt like your workspace is an absolute disaster zone just because you have way too many good ideas happening all at once, you are going to absolutely love this. Let's get into it.
So, to really explore this, I want to introduce you to Elsa. She's this brilliant 9-year-old artist and scientist. And, like a lot of highly creative people, Elsa is absolutely convinced that cleaning up is just plain boring. Whenever her mom asks her to clean her room, Elsa just groans. She'll say she's going to do it later. Why? Because in her mind, stopping her creative flow to clean up actually drains her brilliance. She thinks it's literally wasting her creative energy. But does it really? Actually, keep that question in the back of your mind as we go.
Act 1. The Creative Explosion.
Okay, to really get inside Elsa's mindset, you have to picture her totally chaotic daily process. She'll be pulling out sketchbooks, then suddenly grab 3 different English notebooks for some random story idea, and then drag out a calculator to solve a math puzzle, all at the exact same time. I mean, within just 1 hour, her bedroom floor looks like a Category 5 hurricane just completely ripped through a supply store. We're talking pencils, papers, markers, literally everywhere. But here's the kicker. Elsa totally thought this massive mess was just the visual proof of her brilliant mind at work. What she didn't realize, though, was that she was actually losing a massive war against the fundamental law of physics.
Which brings us to Act 2. Enter Professor Entropy.
So the massive turning point for Elsa happened right in her science class. This is where she learned she wasn't just dealing with a messy room anymore. No, she was actually battling this invisible, universal villain. Check out this definition of entropy. It's a literal scientific law stating that if left completely on their own, things will naturally move from a state of perfect order right down to absolute chaos. I mean, just think about that for a second. A clean room is never, ever going to clean itself, right? It actually requires your active energy to fight back against Professor Entropy.
To really drive this concept home, Elsa's science teacher showed the class a photo of a top-tier scientific laboratory. Now just take a look at the wild contrast here. On one side, you have Elsa's hurricane bedroom disaster. But on the other side, you have this sparkling, intensely organized science lab. Exact bins, meticulously labeled supplies, the whole shebang. Seeing this, it really got Elsa's gears turning, and she asked a genuinely great question. She asked, why are scientists so incredibly strict about putting things back the exact millisecond they finish using them?
Well, the teacher's answer was an absolute game changer, and it completely blew Elsa's mind. The reason? Cross-contamination. The teacher explained that if a scientist leaves a chemical beaker out on the desk while opening a brand new petri dish, that old chemical residue is going to completely ruin the new data. You see, out in the scientific world, an unreset lab is quite literally considered a failed lab. The rule is absolute, no exceptions. An experiment just is not finished until every single thing in that lab is reset back to zero.
Now for Act 3, the contaminated brain.
So, armed with this awesome new knowledge, Elsa goes back to her bedroom. But this time, she's looking at her space through a totally brand new scientific lens. And suddenly, she isn't seeing brilliance anymore. She is spotting cross-contamination absolutely everywhere. I mean, markers are sitting there missing their caps, drying out. A math worksheet is just crumpled up underneath a storybook. And worst of all, she can't even find her favorite fine-tip pencil. That's when it finally hit her. Professor Entropy was literally suffocating her next big idea.
And that realization led to this brilliant mathematical epiphany right there on the spot. She realized time spent hunting around for a lost pencil directly equals creative energy wasted. It totally clicked. She finally realized that avoiding cleanup wasn't saving her time at all. That physical mess was actually cluttering her vision and totally draining her precious creative energy.
Moving on to Act 4, the Lab Reset Protocol.
Right then and there, Elsa makes this hugely empowering decision. She decides she is absolutely done being a messy kid. Instead, she's going to step up as the official head lab director of her bedroom. And taking these new duties very seriously, she gave every single creative tool an exact designated home. She organized all her markers by color, perfectly stacked up her English notebooks, and even designated a highly specific shelf just for her math stuff.
Now watch how she actually builds this into her everyday routine. Elsa creates this super strict new scientific rule, and she calls it the Lab Reset to Zero Protocol.
It goes like this. Step 1, finish your current experiment. Step 2, reset the equipment, cap the markers, put away the books. Step 3, only then are you ready for the next idea. And this rule, it became so ingrained, it would literally trigger in her brain before her feet could even move toward the next thing. The current experiment simply wasn't done until her station was reset to 0.
But here is hands down the most incredible part of this whole thing: the speed of the protocol. The very first time she triggered this new rule, she snapped the marker caps back on, slid her sketchbook away, and it took exactly 45 seconds. Seriously, that's it. Just 45 seconds to completely avoid any cross-contamination and secure a beautifully clear workspace that was 100% ready for her next brilliant idea. And finally, Act 5, defeating the chaos.
So, let's fast forward to the very next weekend. Elsa's mom walks into her bedroom, fully bracing herself for the usual Category 5 hurricane, right? But instead, she's completely amazed to find this beautifully organized room and a super calm, highly focused daughter. When her mom praised how great the space looked, Elsa just smiled and dropped this fantastic quote. "I'm just defeating entropy. You can't run a world-class research lab if your equipment is scattered all over the floor." Boom! By taking just seconds to reset her space, Elsa completely proved she possessed the true discipline of a master scientist.
And that brings us to the end of Elsa's journey. But it definitely leaves us with a huge question for your own space. Is your creative lab ready for a reset? I mean, are you letting Professor Entropy slowly drain away your creative energy by cross-contaminating your workspace? Or are you ready to step up, officially claim the title of head lab director, and enforce your very own lab reset to 0 protocol? Seriously, the next time you finish an amazing project, just take those 45 seconds. I promise you, your brilliant brain will thank you for it.